Auguro a tutti voi amici piloti italiani della Audi 90 GTO IMSA in bocca al lupo per il campionato Kamel GT. Fatevi onore, date gas e tenete alto l'onore della mia Audi Racing preferita di sempre, l'Audi 90 IMSA GTO. Ciao e in bocca al lupo, tenete giù.
Best greetings to all drivers from the Audi GTO 90 Championship. Good success!
With Bathurst and Summit Point behind them, our drivers finally returned to a relatively normal track. And while Spa didn't see the likes of our camel cars in real life, it's well suited to nearly any type of GT racing. The question is, will this more traditional circuit bring Fabian Gerber back to the front finally? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 11 of the iRacing Kamel GT series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Adam Lindgren. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. The modern incarnation of Spa somehow manages to retain its challenging and fearsome nature that the old layout was notorious for. Let's head to our track guide to find out why. Welcome to Spa-Francorchamps. Less than an hour's drive east from the German border, this Belgian track has come to define racing for many different eras in the sport. It's no wonder it continues to entrance drivers when you look at the stats. The 7 kilometers over the course of a lap includes more than 330 feet in elevation change as it weaves its way through the Ardennes forest. Packed into this is 19 turns, some of which are considered among the most famous in the world of racing. Corners like La Source and Blanchemont have been on the lips of drivers for decades. But by far the most notorious is Eau Rouge and Rétillon. Typically referred to in name by just the first section, it dips low and swings left, then compresses and climbs to the right up a massive hill. The sequence ends with a completely blind crest that sweeps to the left and leads onto the incredibly long Kemmel Straight. The bravery required to be fast through there will pay off towards one of the most popular passing spots at Lacombe. Eau Rouge is exemplary of the rest of the circuit though. Most of the turns are incredibly fast and many include much of that signature elevation change. As jaw-dropping as the track is, you have to remember that this is the modern truncated layout. The old one, raced until 1979, was 14 kilometers in length, yet carried an average speed of 150 miles per hour. Present-day safety measures do cut down on the danger, but even in recent history, the circuit has proven deadly. It's clear why this track continues to be revered and respected by racers the world round. Spa is definitely one of the most picturesque racetracks that you can find around the world. But Adam, I don't think there's going to be much time for sightseeing today.
No, Joe. Spa's a challenging track for the Kamel series. While it is wide with many straights, there are some extreme danger zones and some sections where getting caught up in lapped or lapping traffic is going to significantly slow your lap times. For the Nissans, this track is a dream, built for speed and downforce. Everywhere but the bus stop chicane, La Source, and honestly the high curbs are fairly comfortable. For the Audi, it's another story, though. These drivers will be carefully regulating the throttle throughout the lap, balancing the car's weight and power to try and maximize apex speed, especially through the sweeping second and third sectors. The best places to pass for both classes will be into La Source and up the Kemmel Straight, with a possible dive into Campus and Stavelot if you've got the run. Multi-class is where things get interesting, though. The Nissans will want to time their passes for the exit of corners at Spa rather than sweeping around the outside on the apexes like they're used to, as the Audi's racing line tends to switch from right to left a lot over the course of the lap, and with limited mobility, you run the risk of causing an accident by attacking an apex with an Audi headed for it as well. Danger zones abound on this track, Joe, and I look forward to seeing how these drivers tackle this course.
Same here. It's certainly a track that puts on pretty good racing no matter what car you stick on it. But let's take a look at the championship here real quick before we get some lap times and qualifying. And Fabian Gerber on the prototype still leads, but he hasn't scored since Road Atlanta. Interestingly, 2 DNFs in a row, which means he is out of drop week. So that 29-point gap is relatively safe to Jamie Hall, just not safe enough. He can't afford to have any more incidents like he's had in the past few rounds. Laust Olsen trailing behind in an impressive third for his season, considering he's only been on the podium once so far. Nick Mukanos trailing about 8 points behind him. Nick's really had the bad luck this season, which seemed like it went away for a little while, and now suddenly it's back on him. And then Fabian Newluth very, very tight in that battle for third. We'll see how those three fare in the rest of these last 2 rounds. What about the GTO championship here, Adam?
Well, Phil Lake last week at Summit Point secured the victory of the GTO Championship over Yuko Leskala by 16 points. Yuko has jumped Michael Houghton because of Michael Houghton's bad finish last week after he went off into the nether last week at Summit Point. So Michael Houghton 7 points behind Yuko. He's going to have to hope that Yuko has a bad day like he had last week in order to try and regain that second position. But Reed Miller down there in 4th position, very securely ahead of Franco Scurry by only 5 points. So watch for that battle to be intense on track, as well as Franco's been making a very, very impressive late season surge.
And now, of course, our race details for this event. In case you're just tuning in for the first time, we got a 40-minute race on hand here, and they have no spare car. Now, this is important because if you get any damage, that means you have to come down pit lane to get it repaired if it's too much to continue with. And this is the endurance layout, which is a very long pit lane, so it's going to be extra costly. They also have penalties, and again, 17 incidents, have to head down pit lane for that drive-through. It is going to be a long time, a long wait before you can get back up to speed, and you'll actually be disqualified if you hit 25. And with this being Spa, we'll talk about those track limits a lot, I'm sure. It's going to be easy to rack those up. So we've got drivers still waiting to put their first times in. It's going to be incredibly tight for these GTOs to get around for that second lap. Hopefully everybody got out almost immediately. Checking to see who we've got first to set a time among our prototypes, which should be coming soon here, I believe.
Yeah, so we got Brandon Roseborough coming around to, I believe, start a lap here, but we have Alex Gall, Fabian Jungluth, and Steven Warkup who've jumped up to the top 3 positions. So quite a few drivers now starting to hit those times in. Xavier Sanchez up to 6th position. Rob Olenek up to 2nd right now.
Ooh, yeah, and he's about half a second behind, though. Alex Gall, very quick here today. So we're going to watch Hovdal now, who we know loves these low downforce tracks. Granted, they do have some high-speed portions. Hovdal good enough for 3rd. Vili Rolla is the first to put a time in here in our GTOs. Franco Scurry following in behind him. Fabian Gerber up to the pole in the prototypes now. In fact, he's got a 10th over Alex Gall.
Bad news for Phil Lake. We just saw him cross the line. His lap didn't count, so he caught an incident that lap. He's going to have to put in a good second lap, but that being said, with the championship secured, he doesn't really have to worry about this race that much. Here's Michael Houghton, qualified 2nd right now behind Yuko Leskala. He's going to have to hope he can improve that. Here comes Joni Kaijines. He's going to come around the final corner and possibly complete a good lap here. The number 1 car in this split. If this race did split, we've neglected to mention at this point, so 31 cars in this split, 31 cars in the second split as well.
Kaijinen only good enough for 4th. Interesting. Still shaking the rust off a little bit here at Spa. Let's see if the number 1 car can come around for a faster one next time. As we watch Ove Trangarade, he's been hot and cold this season himself. It's a 2:17.9, and that's 8th position for Ove. Ooh, that is way far down there for him. So Teemu Vaskilampi now. Let's see what Teemu can do. And looks like nothing, as unfortunately that lap did not count for him. So he must have had an off track. That means we've got a few drivers under the gun. Cy Andra being one of them with an off that last time. Laust Olsen, 3rd in the championship, needs to try and do a clean one next time by. Steven Warkup stays in 13th. Alex Gall does not finish his second lap, so he can't challenge Gerber for the pole.
Yeah, so Alex Gall and Jamie Hall both didn't finish their second lap. So here's Fabian Gerber currently with a pretty secure pole position, unless Syandra can put something in real. I know that Laust and Teemu are also very quick on these low downforce setups as well. But here comes Fabian Gerber, our current pole sitter, as he comes through the chicane. Let's see whether he can improve on his time.
Cross the line. Oh, he did not get a time that second one. So he does not improve. Looks like Rob Olenek did not improve, so he's not going to be able to take it away. Nick Schneider, as we watch Vili Rolla. And Rolla's second lap was faster. Good enough for the front row for him. Leskala, who is currently on pole, coming around for his second lap, seeing if he can extend it over Vili. He's 2/10 ahead. As he crosses the line, he's even faster. It's a 2:15.5, 7/10 faster than the last one. He is well clear of anybody else in his class.
Michael Houghton crosses the line, only good enough for fourth position as Billy Rolla and Phil Lake both put in their times. Phil did complete his second lap and did get up there into that third position. Here comes Yoni Kaishinen trying to come around and improve from sixth position. It's very tight at the front of the Audi field right now.
So as Kaishinen crosses, it's a 2:16.7, much faster, but it only bumps him up to P5. He's a ways off of that pole time. Vascalapi now down into the line on his one-timed lap. It's a 2:02.1. He had a clean one, and that's going to put him in 8th.
And Yuri Giesen's going to be the final one across the line. He just secured a banker lap, currently 19th in the GTPs, and that'll be it for qualifying, I believe.
It does appear you are right on that one. All drivers have got times in, so let's go through our starting order. Fabian Gerber on the pole ahead of Alex Gall, with Jamie Hall starting in third. Jamie chasing in this championship in second place. Rob Olenek is starting fourth today, with Nick Schneider in P5 and Arto Iamaki in the sixth position. Matthias Hovdal, one to watch out for. He'll be starting from seventh, with Teemu Vaskalapi in eighth position and Sai Andra in P9. Rounding out the top 10, it's Fabian Jungbluth with Nick Mukanos, a disappointing 11th. He did get both laps in. Fortunately, it just was not good enough today. Brandon Roseborough will start in 12th, with Sean Campbell in 13th. Xavier Sanchez will be P14, and Stephen Warkup is 15th. Then you've got Martin Krejcik. He'll start 16th. Then from the 17th position, it's Ben Laughter. Laust Olsen way down in 18th here in the top split. And Yuri Geisen starting in 19th.
Yuko Lesko's going to take the pole for the Audis, with Billy Rolla starting off in second position. Phil Lake's going to line up behind Yuko, with Michael Houghton lined up behind Billy. Look for those four to be battling it out all race long. Yoni Kaishinen, he might be able to keep up with them as well in the fifth spot, with Ove Trengrade in sixth. Reed Miller and Franco Scurry, seventh and eighth. They're battling for the fourth position in the championship as well, so look for them to be having a drawn-out fight this race. Nils Cord lining up in the ninth spot, with Roman Pavlowski in 10th, Jim McGill 11th, and Remy Villeneuve did not set a time. He'll start off in 12th, rounding out your 31-car field.
We wait for the rest of the cars to line up on the grid. So really, the big ones to watch out for in the championship fight in the prototypes. Jungbluth has qualified the highest of third, fourth, and fifth in the points right now, and he's only in 10th. He'll be followed closely by Mukanos and back there, nearly at the back of his field. So who can make good on what is a very stacked field here today? As was mentioned, the top split of two out there as they start off. And I really do wonder, though, if we are going to get some drive-through penalties and even potentially up to some disqualifications today, Adam.
Yeah, it's very possible. One thing I didn't mention in my track description was how intense Spa is with its track limits. They've done that because you can really gain a ton of time if you go off track here. So how you use those incidents that you have, how you ration them out, is going to be very important to how fast you can go, especially when you're catching or trying to pass cars.
As we come up to the bus stop, now here's the other question. Are they going to go early, or are they going to wait? Because the pace car heads in, a little bit sloppily, I should say, as Fabian Gerber leads the field. And it does look like he's going to wait until after La Source before accelerating. As they trundle down towards the hairpin. Is he going to give them a very long wait? I don't see too many drivers trying to get those tires heated up, as it's cool today at 73 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface. Gerber around the La Source hairpin. He's still holding them. It's going to be a long wait for him. And now he goes. Fabian Gerber takes the green flag and accelerates away from Alex Gall, who's already under threat from Jamie Hall into Eau Rouge. Looks like they're going to get single file. In fact, pretty much the entire field is single file through that set of corners. Let's go back to the GTOs.
Interesting start for the Audis. Yuko Lesko with a good jump. Phil Lake has passed Billy Rolla for that second position. Then we have Michael Houghton, who's challenging Billy right now. He's actually got a good run. He's going to look at it, but we've had a wreck. Cy Andres out.
And Rob Olenek, unfortunately, involved in that, as he has to cut across the course. Could be damage on both cars, and a big slowdown, I'm sure, as we watch our GTOs head into the corner. into Lacombe. Lescala ahead of Lake, and it looks like Rolla in a fight with Houghton around the outside. He's going to have to give it up, but he gets a good run off of Malmedy down into Ravage. No attack there. We took a brief glance to our GTP leaders, and I can report that Jamie Hall managed to get by into second. Gall has been demoted.
So yeah, the GTP is very, very intensely trying to get around Cy Andra and Rob Olenek at this time as they're trying to navigate all of this. We're taking a look at the GTOs as they're being repassed by Xavier Sanchez, who's part of that initial incident. Looks like the top three are pretty spread out in the GTOs, Joe.
I wonder if the slipstream is going to bring them back together, though, by the time we get to the run of the bus stop. It's going to be a long acceleration zone. Looking at our prototype leaders. They've lost touch with Fabian Gerber. That could be critical for him, as the slipstream could help those cars as well. Hall breaks it hard down into the bus stop. No attempts from the front of the field as they go single file once again through the final chicane. And again, your finish line, even though the start line was after La Source, the finish line is here, down the Grand Prix pits.
Yeah, it's good to see that Fabian held them up all the way through the end. I know that on Friday there's a little bit of conversation about where to start this race, because realistically, according to iRacing, the driver on pole position has control of the race as soon as the pace car pulls off. And we waited until they got around La Source in order to start, which is the official start of the race. But here we go, starting lap 2. Yuka Lescala in the GTOs leading Phil Lake by 7/10 of a second. It's not very tight up there in the front, but watch for that to close up as they come out the final straight.
Yeah, let's stick with this here through Eau Rouge and see if anybody gets a good run amongst our front runners. Lescala plunging down to the bottom where it compresses, switches direction, and then comes across the crest. Nice and tidy for him. No cut course for the number 9 car, but nobody really looks like they have an advantage here.
Yeah, the draft not coming into as much of a play right now. It is closing up the gaps, but very slowly. We're going to have to look to see who's going to be best through the second sector, especially now that these tires have warmed up for the GTOs.
Remember that fight for third and the points for GTP? Well, Nick Mukanos is currently losing touch with Fabian Jungbluth, and he's got a stream of cars behind him. That's Iamaki, Roseboro, and Laughter, who are all giving close chase.
Oh, Joe Yuko Lescala overshot it going into No Name, going into what is now Brussels. He just overshot the corner. He almost lost the lead in the GTOs, and that's condensed our leaders significantly. Billy Rolla looking for a challenge on Phil Lake.
Can't quite get in there as they come down into Pouhon. Maybe coming off the corner, we could see something, as these cars love to understeer in these fast corners. And indeed, look at Rolla with a bit of an advantage coming down into Piff Paff, but it looks like he's not going to be able to make it as they weave their way through this medium speed chicane. He's going to get another shot. Let's see if Stavolo offers him anything. Oh, it's a bad exit for Rolla off the first portion. And here comes Houghton, looking very strong in the second portion. He's going to get the slipstream on the fin. Is the Glacier Racing car going to be under threat?
I don't think so. Unfortunately, Michael Houghton didn't get a great run through the center of the corner coming on to Blanchimont, coming up to Blanchimont, but unfortunately, wow, look at this. They're really struggling to keep these cars to the apex there. The tightness of these vehicles very, very challenging.
Little puff of smoke under braking there for Phil Lake. And Houghton is very strong, looking from the back of Billy Rolla. He has very much had his mirrors full of the number 11. They come down to complete another lap down into La Source. Puff of smoke behind from Joni Kaijinen this time. All the drivers pushing hard early in the race. Let's see what they've got as they come through Eau Rouge yet again. And another chance for the Kemmel Straight to offer a good draft battle. Phil Lake not that close to Lescala, but he is going to start to reel him in. Let's see if anybody pops out as we watch from the long... oh, and he is going to get a shot at it. He gets to the inside of Lescala, who's going to try and fend him off through Lacombe. He'll get another bite through Malmedy. This could be a great opportunity. This is slowing them up, though. Here comes Billy Rolla. The Finn maybe could get involved in it as he takes a look in the inside of Phil Lake down into Ravage, but it's not going to be there, and they all get back in line.
They're all back in line, but there's a nice battle behind them. Franco Scurry and Reed Miller. Franco's made the pass on Reed. That is for a pass in position in the championship as well. These two guys are only 5 points separated, so this battle's going to be very intense the entire race. Franco moving over to the center of the track to cover off Reed Miller, but he's having a hard time getting through Pouan, keeping that car straight. He uses a little bit of that four-wheel drive to power down, but is that going to slow him up going into the left-rights? Yes, it is.
Scurry very defensive into Fanyes, and he's able to fend off Reed Miller, but fierce fighting in just the first few minutes of today's race is Cy Andres setting the fastest lap. We've seen him come in late to some of these races without much practice. Maybe that's what put him back in qualifying, because right now he is flying.
Yeah, Cy set some good laps, and as we look right now at these battles going on, it's very tight here for that 7th position. Also very tight for the lead. I believe Phil Lake is going to be under threat, but here we go once again up to Syandra. Look at the times he's putting in. Fabian Gerber right now in the lead of this race by 0.8 of a second. That's the gap, but look at this battle behind them.
Down into the corner, Bucanos trying to hold off Vascalampi as they go wheel to wheel, and into Malmedy, swinging the long way around. They're going to actually bang doors. And this is going to allow a chance for Ardo Iamaki, who thinks about 3 wide, but then thinks better of it. It looks like it's a little too upsetting for him to try and get involved in that fight, as they've now come to blows.
Very, very close battling between these guys, but Nick Bucanos, once again, some bad luck there. He has major rear right damage to that back wing. That's going to cause a lot of trouble when it comes to going quickly down the straights, so he's going to have to be careful there.
Absolutely. I'm sure we'll see the effects here coming out of Stavilo soon. I'm keeping half an eye on Andres' progress, who's unfortunately had some... Oh, and battle on screen. This is for second place. Rolla looking to take it away from Lake, and he's got it. Lake could get the over-under. He does get underneath him. Doesn't get much overlap, though, and decides that he can't keep his nose in there down to the apex. Oh, maybe he can. Second half looking really strong, and then suddenly gets chopped off again.
This is a fantastic battle up here for the top 4 positions, but while they're battling like this, Yuko Lesko is running away with it. He's up to a second ahead of these guys. Here goes Phil Lake to the inside of Pouan. Oh boy, that's some close stuff, but look at this Philly Rolla, unable to hold on to it as he goes to the outside of the corner. He manages to wrangle it back in. Phil Lake using one of those incidents that he has sparingly to go wide and try and get a little bit more speed. He can't get the overlap though.
And remember that right now Phil Lake has this championship wrapped up, so for everybody else around him, it's essentially a case of there's nothing at stake other than the win, so they can fight pretty hard as he almost gets into the back of the fin. Rolla backing it up at the apex, and Phil Lake unfortunately had his momentum interrupted big time.
Fortunately for Yuko Lesko, he's broken about that 1.2 second gap that causes the draft. So if he keeps pulling away like this, it's going to be really hard for these guys to catch him. Billy Rolla and Phil Lake still battling for second.
Amazingly, in all of this, we have not had any retirements as Leskola outbreaks himself coming into the bus stop chicane. Lost a little bit of time there. He's got to be careful. He's built such a good lead. He certainly does not want to lose it now and allow them to slipstream. As they come around Lasource, another lockup. I think Leskola might be pushing a little bit too hard here.
Leskola's 2 struggle points are going to be on hard braking, especially in this first sector, and also right here through Eau Rouge and Radion. This is where he seems to struggle the most with maintaining a consistent speed, and that's going to be the place that gets him caught a lot. But look at this. This battle for second is not going to go anywhere. Phil Lake right on the back of Rolla already going defensive.
Can Lake do it around the outside? These two have fought here into Lacombe multiple times now. He's better on the brakes as Willy Rolla looking for the over-under, and it doesn't seem like it's quite there. Lake having a hard time predicting which way that Willy is going to go. Houghton looking from behind, then coming back to the racing line. Don't forget Joni Kaisen involved in this as well. Many cars to think about in this, which with the slipstream, Adam, I think this is going to make it extra complicated.
Absolutely, and one thing we have to think about as well is Michael Houghton in that purple and silver machine. He's got Yuko Leskola to try and beat this week, so he's got to get up there and get frisky with these guys and get past them and catch up to Yuko, because as Yuko streaks away, there goes his second place in the championship. So he's definitely thinking about this battle as intensely as the two guys ahead of him.
They weave through Fanyes. The four-car train is Roola in P2, Lake third, Houghton fourth, and Kajanen in fifth. Prototypes, though. Alex Gall, did he just lose a spot to Hovdal?
He did. Hovdal with a much faster speed on the straight. Looks like Alex is struggling a little bit to put down speed right now, Joe.
That is not good. Let's take a look at the replay on how this happened. Hovdal, as we said, loves to trim out that wing and could be threatening. He's up to third, having started this race in seventh. There's the replay. Yeah, he just looks very quick coming in a straight line, and then gets some under braking down into Lacoon. Nice as you like. Let's head back to our GTOs, because I believe Billy Rolla is not going to have an easy time holding back Phil Lake. The question is, if they go side by side again, is Houghton finally going to stick his nose in? We're past 10 minutes through, up and over the crest of Radion. Ooh, Lake is extremely close this time. He's going to get a huge tow. He looks to the inside. Billy Rolla takes to the racing line. Oh, was that a lift maybe?
It was. I think Billy realizes that Phil's going to be hounding him, so he's going to let Phil by and see whether or not they can gain any more time on Yuko Leskola. At some point, you do got to work with the drivers ahead of you, especially considering the fact that we're only 13 minutes into this race. These guys have got to be careful that they don't let the Yuko get away and win this race. They need to work together to catch back up to him. At that point, then they can start battling amongst each other once again.
Let's not forget as well, Leskola's on 3 wins, and it's just Houghton's consistency that has kept him in, because he hasn't won since Road America. It's the very first round, as we've got a battle in the middle of the pack and the prototypes here. This is between Workup, Laughter, and Olenek.
Look at all the speed that these guys have come out there. Sean Campbell making a move on Olnick behind, and here comes, it's going to be side by side, 2 deep. Here we go with Ben Laughter trying to pass Stephen Workup, and he's going to be able to get that done. The question is Sean Campbell going to be able to go around the outside of Rob Olnick? Rob's going to do hard on the brakes here, and Sean Campbell's going to be stuck on the outside, can't get the job done, but Rob overcooks it just a little bit. I think he's going to be able to maintain that line. Let's see whether Sean can get the over-under here.
Ooh, he's bad out of Malmedy. Sean looks to the inside, but slamming the door, Rob Olenek feels confident enough that he can keep him back. He'll retain 14th position. Remember, Rob is out of position. He qualified 4th, but we also don't know how much damage he's got from that opening lap fracas down into Lacombe. He tries to catch back up. Ooh, he's very strong through the corners as he gains a lot of time coming up to the back of Workup.
A very intense battle between these guys for the 12th position. Rob trying to recover from that earlier incident and that earlier damage. Hopefully he'll be able to do so.
4-car fight, and this is all for 12th place, now being led by Ben Laughter, who has just taken the spot away from Workup on this lap. As they come out of Stavilo, Rob Olenek went a little bit wide. I'm not sure if that would be an incident counted for him or not. They start to pick up speed, come up to Blanchimont. Is this flat out in these cars?
Yes, absolutely. In the GTPs, it's 100% flat out. Easy flat for these guys. Whoa, look at that. Nice little look to the inside there from Campbell. But unfortunately, he's not going to be able to do it. Wow, look at this. They're going to go side by side as they go through the chicanes.
This is going to compromise Olenek. Bravo has Sean looking to his left side. Campbell is going to try and see if he can attack. He switches over, goes to the inside. Are we going to go 3 wide through La Source? Not quite. Down to the inside of Workup. Rob Olenek manages to get side by side, but can't get it off the corner as strongly. As they come to Eau Rouge, side by side again. Who's the gutsy one? It is going to be Workup. Almost gets tipped off. And they're both slow because of that. Here comes Sean Campbell. He gets the best run of the 3 of them, but he gets boxed in as Rob Olenek tries to squeeze him out. So he plays his cards behind Robbo. picking up the slipstream. The battle continues into Lacombe. Rob finally gets it done. Sean can't get by. Warcup behind him. Kraytrick and Olsen fight.
Oh, Lars Olsen almost gets into the back of Kraytrick, has to back out of it. Man, this is an intense battle down here for these lower positions of the GTPs. These guys are fighting tooth and nail, Joe.
Yep, that was Villeneuve, Remy Villeneuve at the back of the GTOs that they just lapped. They got a little ways before they get to Jim McGill, but that will kick off the lap traffic for our drivers.
Absolutely, they're going to be catching them around the 20-minute mark for the leaders of the GTOs. We're going to jump up to that lead pack though, because this is a big train, and they've caught Yuko Leskola. But that being said, they've left Michael Houghton in the dust a second behind.
Yeah, this train now goes all the way back to Trangarade in 6th place. So from P1 to P6 here, you can see on screen Leskola taking them down into Eau Rouge one more time. He's ahead of Phil Lake, who's trying to shake Billy Rolla.
Oh, great run from Phil, Joe. Great run from Phil.
Yes, indeed. We've seen him use this before. Can the Dirty Torque driver get it done? Leskola wants to at least win this one, claim victory number 4. He's going defensive down into Lacombe. Phil Lake trying to power his way around, then it switches back to the inside, but it's not going to be good enough. Into Malbany now. Once again with a switchback, and wow, a monster run from Phil Lake, the number 2 car, to the inside of Rivage. Can he complete the pass? It's downhill and off camber through that corner. And now it switches back once again into No Name, still not quite giving up, but Leskola can't hold back the wave.
Here comes Billy Rolla looking to the inside here at Pouhon once again. Wow, look at this. Leskola very deep on the brakes into Pouhon, trying to get to the rear bumper of Phil Lake. Can't quite get it done. He's going to carry more speed off the corner. Neither of them picking up an incident there. Is also going to look to late brake. No, he doesn't. Wow, this is an intense battle for the lead. Leskola very aggressive on the brakes right now.
Unbelievable. Who can stop Phil Lake? He's already on 6 wins. He's won at least half of the season. He's looking to dominate the entire thing. They come out of Stavelo, and revenge comes the way of Yuko Leskola. Ooh, it's looking likely. He gets a great run. He's going to pick the inside of Blanchimont, but that's going to be the outside of the bus stop. And then he backs out of it before they even get to Blanchimont.
Got into the grass just a little bit from Yuko. Phil's wide. This is going to give an opportunity to Yuko. Is he going to do late on the brakes? He's going to give it a shot.
He gets to the inside of him. They're going to go door to door once again to the limit of the tires. Yuko Leskola smoking him. And unfortunately, that's not going to be good enough. His fellow Finn, Billy Rolla, had a little bit of a peak. That's not going to work either.
Fabian Jungbluth is about 9 seconds behind these guys cutting through the traffic. Look at how close they are. They have to get this sorted out quickly. Whoever's in the lead when Fabian comes through is going to have a major advantage.
All right, back through Eau Rouge. And here we go with the draft battle once again. Houghton gains a little bit of time. Oh no, a mistake up through there from Yuko Leskola, and he is a sitting duck. Billy Rolla manages to get by. Can Houghton get by as well and get into the podium? Yes, he can. This is his main rival in the championship for that 2nd place position. Oh, but it's not going to be there, as Yuko's very strong on the brakes.
So deep on the brakes from Yuko, and here comes Fabian Gerber 6 seconds behind. He's the last car just sneaking into frame just there as we came off the corner. But look at this, Michael Houghton looking for a way by, can't quite do so. But Billy Rolla up to 2nd. This train is just jam-packed next to each other. I don't know how Fabian's going to cut through here cleanly.
Incredibly, we're already halfway through this race with so much action going on. This is our leader, Fabian Gerber, in the prototypes, and now you're starting to see he's getting to the back of Trangarade. They swing it down through Pouhon. Lake is pulling away with all that infighting. He's loving that, because now he's going to have the leader slow them up, and he may have cut off the slipstream.
This is epic to see these 6 cars up here at the lead, just battling with one another. But here comes Fabian. Fabian's right up to the back of Trangarade. He's going to have to make his way around. He's going to dive to the inside here. That's going to make Trangarade drop right off the back of this group. But how's Fabian going to get his way through this large group of GTOs? He's going to try and use his speed.
He gets by Kaijinen. He's coming up to Houghton now. I think he's going to get him pretty easily. No, he's going to wait. Now, Gerber has a 2-second gap.
no!
Over Hall. Oh, around the outside. Just when that car is going to understeer at its worst. They made a slight bit of contact. Not sure if he got damage out of that.
But Houghton's going to take advantage of this. He's going to try and use Yuko being slow off the corner. But look at this, Gerber slow off the corner as well. So this is going to open up the door a little bit for Houghton if he wants to go on late on the brakes. But Leskola is so good on the brakes, he's going to outbrake Yuko there. Oh my goodness, it's tight. Oh man, Yuko Leskola almost running into the back of Fabian Gerber. But now they've got Jamie Hall tucked in behind. This is intense stuff. The multi-class is really starting to kick off now.
Seen in the past, the damage to the car can lose you multiple positions. Gerber falling down to 5th at... Man, Hall is being real brave here. Yeah, we both saw that.
Oh, nice battle for 3rd position, though, between Matthias Hobdahl and Alex Gall as they're splitting. Obe Trankray and Yoni Kaisen in behind. They're going to try and work it through. Look at all this weaving and cutting. There's Syandra making his way up there as well. Very intense stuff for these GTPs as they try and cut through the GTO leaders.
Prototype definitely interrupting the picnic of our Audis. And Matthias Hobdahl, who's able to hold back Alex Gall up to 3rd position, is within about a second of Jamie Hall as well. I don't think the win is off the cards for Matthias at all as they come down towards Pouhon. Already, Jamie and Fabian Gerber are completely past our battle for the lead. Now here comes Hobdahl up and around the lake. Oh, but he has to think twice. That's going to slow him up. Gall and, oh, is this Syandra? Yeah, his teammate. But Alex Gall's teammate, Syandra, is also in the mix. There's a big slide there from Alex Gall, having to pick some dangerous moves past Phil Lake.
And there goes Syandra to the inside. Unbelievable stuff as these guys are cutting through. I'm sure the GTOs are really frustrated right now. But it's very tight for 2nd position between Yuko Leskola, Michael Houghton, and Vili Rolla.
Everywhere you look, it is a fight amongst our leaders in both classes. They're being overtaken.
Go!
Oh my goodness, by Nick Schneider, who just picks a lane wide enough past Rolla.
Oh my goodness, that was as close as it gets. Here comes Nick Mukanos. He dives to the outside of Michael Houghton. Contact!
Oh, and Mukanos, once again, luck strikes in the worst possible way as he has no place to go to get by Rolla. Oh my goodness. Nick just...
This was contact between Yuko Leskola. Yeah, this was contact between Yuko Leskola and Vili Rolla, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's going to spin the car to a halt right in front of Mukanos. There's the slight contact with Schneider, too. They kind of slowed up Rolla for a brief moment.
Bam. And Nick had nowhere to go. He locked up the brakes trying to avoid it, unfortunately. But just a little bit of front-end contact. Hopefully that doesn't affect him too poorly, but it has put him down in 11th.
My goodness. As he finally catches up back to Trangarade. Franco Scurry was getting on the mic, giving a little bit of a hello to many of the GTPs going by, which includes Campbell, Olenek, and Sanchez still fighting back for 13th position. Actually, not too far behind Nick Mukanos now. Looking once again.
Look at this.
Fight for 2nd, yeah.
Yeah, this is the fight for 2nd, both on track and in the championship here. So Michael Houghton definitely trying to get his way back up to Yuko Leskola and put him behind him to try and close that 7-point gap to that position in the championship. This is Brando Roseborough who's splitting them at this time. He's going to try and go to the outside here of Yuko. This is going to narrow the entry for Yuko, make him a little bit slow off, but he actually manages to put down the power quite well. I'm concerned that Michael Houghton might have burnt up his front tires dealing with all the GTP traffic. Here comes Nick Mukanos recovering as he goes by Houghton.
He is well dropped off the back of Leskola, so there goes his championship rival off into the distance. Hopefully he can give us a good battle at the end. Let's jump up to our prototypes. Alex Gall and his teammate Syandra.
Oh, sorry, big wreck from Rob Olenek. He just got turned.
No, and this was out of Blanchimont, it appears. This is the number 10 car that is facing backwards. Wow, yeah, severe damage, and he's going to take a tow. This actually, you know what? It looks like, oh, he got held up. And Sanchez, unfortunately, got into the back of him. That was that Rolla that he was slowing up for, I think?
Yeah, it was. That was Billy Rolla, who was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was also lapped GTP, who was holding them up as well. Rob Olenek had to back off, and Sabir saw a gap, went for it, and it was just a little too small.
And that meant to change for position at that time for Cy Andra and Alex Gall. Just as we switched away, Andra gets his number 4 into 4th ahead of his teammate. And actually looks like he has better pace of the two right now because he's starting to run away. And next on his list, Matthias Hofdahl on the podium. Not bad for a driver qualified in 9th.
And here's the battle for P12 in the GTPs. Once again, Ben Lafter, Xavier Sanchez, and Sean Campbell, as they're trying to weave their way through the GTO leaders. And it's holding them up significantly. Here comes Yuko trying to get to the apex, but there's no apex to be found because there's just GTPs there. That's what's holding all of them. Oh my goodness, this is going to be intense.
After gets held up, and Sanchez manages to get to the inside. Campbell watching the pair of them, not willing to try and make it 3 wide, but the slowed up Ben Lafter can't hold back either of them and is going to be demoted 2 positions.
Can Ben do the over-under here? No, he can't. Unfortunately, can't get the power down quite enough there, so unfortunately, he's going to have to back off a little bit. Sean Campbell, though, right on the back of Xavier Sanchez. Xavier just went from 14th to 12th in those couple of corners there.
Done by the number 14. Sure, he'll have a few words with Robbo, though, afterwards. Remember, he was the one that got in the back. Campbell could have back here as he's to the inside, down into the bus stop. Good on the brakes. Wheel-to-wheel fighting. Laughter could try and get both these spots right back, but no. They both struggle trying to put the power down, and Campbell is the best of the 3, taking 12th back.
Very intense stuff from these guys, and look for them to be more intense as they head up Eau Rouge and Radion. I'm keeping my eyes on P1 in the GTOs as well because Yuko Lesko has closed that down to 6/10, which if he gets a good run off of Eau Rouge should be good, but remember that Yuko also struggles at Eau Rouge, but here we go. Sean Campbell and Xavier Sanchez very close as they go up through Eau Rouge, and look at this, Xavier with a great run.
Much better straight line speed, unfortunately, than Campbell as he looks around the outside. Is he going to tow along Ben Lafter? Maybe. Covers off the apex, and only 1 position down for Campbell. Sanchez back to P12.
I feel like this battle is going to be hard fought all the way to the end of this race with only 12 minutes to go, rather. These guys are very, very intensely battling here.
Also close to battling is Lake and Leskala, within 0.5 of a second between one another. They're going to get some traffic. Hopefully this doesn't split the fight up. Krejcik now between them. That's the white car that you see. Going way off course there, a few of the cars. And then they've got Olsen and Geisen. This is for position, although it's far down in the order of the prototype, 17th and 18th. So they might be a little bit impatient.
Yeah, that actually held up Yuko significant. Oh my goodness, that was almost contact there.
Yeah, Geisen really wanted to try and get a chance to get to the inside of Olsen. Thankfully, Lake gave them enough space, but probably a bit put off by that. Oh, we've had a battle between Mukanos and Roseboro, which has been very back and forth. They've swapped positions twice this race for 10th.
Yeah, and this is some significant damage to the right rear of Nick Mukanos. I'm not sure where he picked it up. I'm trying to find out right now, but that's really slowing down his straight line speed. It's not that front clip damage that we were worried about that happened in that initial incident that we saw, but he has some damage to the right rear that's really causing him problems.
It sounded like he said something about being rammed out of the way, and I'm not sure if he was talking to Roseboro because I didn't see him make contact. And yeah, Brandon's getting on the radio saying, "I never touched you." So, might have had a bit of netcode there as we go to a battle between Hall and Hofdahl. And wow, Matthias must have gotten this recently. He's now up into P2.
Yeah, this was a pass on the Kamel straight, Joe, and it was just due to raw straight line speed.
Every time we go to these very, very fast tracks, Matthias Hovdal is just a force of nature. And he's now up P2. I wonder what his laps are like compared to Gerber, who we haven't talked about a lot because, well, he's been 5.5 seconds ahead of the next car back for much of this time.
Yeah, his laps have got to be pretty good for sure.
Well, we got a battle for the lead in the GTOs here, Adam.
Yeah, Yuko has been able to catch back up to the back of Phil Lake, and he did it coming off of Eau Rouge and Radion. And here comes Yuko, way better on the brakes still than Phil. And he's definitely attacking him through these turning sections. Looks like Phil starting to get a little bit loose in that GTO. That's hard to do, Joe.
I know you've talked about where you have the power sent to and that you can adjust it to these cars. Is it possible that he burned up the rears a little bit too much?
Absolutely. It's an easy thing to do, especially if you have the brake bias to the rears. You saw the amount of locking up that was happening for both of these drivers at the beginning of this race, but Phil's really struggling to get that car to slow down, especially when he heads towards the apexes. So this could be a very interesting fight for the rest of the race, especially considering the fact that we've had all of the GTPs go through already. So it's open and clear for these guys to fight now.
I have to wonder, with no championship on the line, is Leskala going to be all out on this? No hold barred as he comes to the back of Phil Lake. 8 minutes left to go in today's race. And though he doesn't poke his nose out yet, he is forcing Lake to go defensive. Now he goes side by side as they hit the binders here for the bus stop chicane. He could have the inside for the second one, but can he get the power off of it? They're about dead even coming onto the throttle, but Lake doesn't have the nose ahead. He comes down to the La Source, trying to challenge him back. This one's going to be in favor of him to the right side. And it's going to continue. Adam, on down to Eau Rouge now.
Oh boy, this is going to be intense if they try and go through here too. I believe Phil's probably going to back off and try and get a run through Eau Rouge and Radion. You got to remember, Yuko Leskala still battling for second in the championship. Phil Lake has already won. Phil can help out his teammate Michael Houghton by making this pass on Yuko Leskala. He's going to have to do it in a couple of laps' time. I'm not sure he's close enough, but here he comes.
Run. He's got an opening. Doesn't look like Yuko's going to shut the door, but now he slams it shut. Down to the apex. The number 9 racing cool and calm, but he's fought with Phil Lake before. They know each other's tricks.
Oh, the shift!
Oh. The bane of every Audi
Oh,
driver.
contact!
Gets into the back of him. Not expecting him to be there. It looks like they're both going to get away with it. Wow.
Wow is right, Joe. This is some intense battling from these two drivers. Just a little bit of a mental error from Yuko Leskala allows Phil Lake to go by. Yuko just trying to regain his confidence now as he exits through Pluton, trying to come up towards these next right and left-handers. Yuko very much struggling for grip. So is Phil Lake, and they still have 6 minutes to go. That's a couple of laps, Joe.
Sad news for fans of Nick Mukanos. He is our latest retirement today. We don't need a replay. He just unfortunately spun off on his own coming out of Fanyes, which means his championship is going to look dire about potentially trying to get into third. He could fall as low as 6th in the points after this one today. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead here on screen in the GTOs coming through the fast Blanchimont left-hander. Sees both cars manage to keep it on track. We don't know if anybody has accrued too many incident points yet either. And if it comes down to these final laps and we see someone duck in pit lane, I think we'll have our answer on that. Out of the bus stop, doesn't look like Leskala is able to get enough of a run to attack into La Source. Maybe he can get a good slipstream here. Oh, another lockup.
Yeah, Phil locked up the fronts just a little bit there going into the corner. Phil's been very hard on the brakes trying to beat Yuko's braking, but Yuko just seems to have an understanding of how this GTO goes on the brakes a lot better than anybody else. Look at this. He's got a decent run here through Eau Rouge. This is going to be a good opportunity to try and make a pass.
Does Phil defend? Nope. He's going to go off to the left. He leaves the door open. Leskala down to the inside. Fully alongside. A nose ahead. They hit the binders. They're going to be just dead even as they enter the apexes. And as they come out, it looks like Yuko could advantage, but he might get the over-under for Phil Lake. Lake is looking to the inside, down into Ravage, tries to get the nose in there, can't get the overlap, and Leskala says, no, you don't.
Big news on the championship battle while this is going on. Villirola has made it up to the 3rd position. He's now tucked in behind these guys about 4 seconds back, so watch how close these guys are. Look at this, Phil Lake, look at the inside of Puon.
Now it's starting to get a little bit of desperation out of Phil Lake. Wuhan not typically a place where you can see overtakes, especially in these cars. So maybe he's starting to get a little bit worried about things, knowing that this win might not happen the way that Leskala is racing him hard. Rola, 3.5 seconds, as Adam mentioned, watching this all, encouraging them to continue to fight, hoping that he can get involved in it. Houghton behind him could be towed along. He is far leader, by the way, with 3.5 minutes left to go. He is actually halfway through this lap, so I think we've got about 2 laps left.
Maybe, I guess I believe that he would get the one to go in 2 laps time. We're going to take a look at Jamie Hall and Cy Andra, though, because this battle for second place between Avdal Hall and Andra has been about equidistant, but here they come up to lap traffic, and this could define it.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, their pace is not good enough for the likes of Avdal and Gerber, who have been in the low 204s, 204 flat, and 239, actually, even for Fabian Gerber in some cases. As they come out of Stavilo using all of the track and then some, Cy Andra trying to see if he can get up to the back of Jamie Hall.
And Joe, Michael Houghton is wrecked out of this race.
Oh,
effectively
no.
the championship as well. It was a self-caused incident, unfortunately.
After he was at least looking at a top 5 to try and keep his hopes up, that is certainly going to banish those. Off of the bus stop, Hall keeps Cy Andra at bay, looking to see if he can at least get himself a podium out there. As they come down through La Source, that is Havdal for second, just ahead. We're going to spread apart. We're going to jump away. And Phil Lake still challenging Leskala. Now they're into the back half of the course now, heading back downhill out of No Name into Puon.
Yeah, these guys are very tight together, and Phil Lake, I believe he's trying to save his stuff for a last lap attempt. And since Fabian's not going to be able to get through these guys and get up there, I mean, Fabian is up to 10th place in the GTOs, but I don't think he's going to be able to catch up to these guys before the end of the race. So I believe Phil's just trying to save his stuff for a last lap attempt, but he's got to make sure that he closes the gap a little bit more than this, because 0.7 of a gap's not close enough to get the draft on up Camel Straight.
Certainly he's going to have to push hard, make sure that he keeps the threat up on the number 9 in front of him, deny him his 4th win of the season. They start to pick up speed here up towards Blanchimont, 165 miles an hour before they actually have to get off the power through Blanchimont. And it looks like Lake is indeed struggling as that car falls back even more.
Yeah, look at this. Yuko very much locking up the front right as he goes into the chicane. But yeah, I think Phil's just falling off the back of him. I don't know if he can do much. Here we go across the line. And as they cross the line here, Fabian Gerber is just now coming through Blanchimont. So this is him on screen now. That's Rob Olenek behind. That's not for position. That's a lap car. Fabian might be able to catch them on this lap, but I think Fabian's going to be going on to his white flag lap. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, that is indeed the white flag for him. Less than 2 minutes to go with a 2:03 lap time for our prototypes. Leskala is actually already on the Kemmel Straight. I don't think Gerber's going to get there in time. I think they're going to get an extra full lap to make this work.
It's going to be nip and tuck. Yeah, definitely. I think you're right, Joe, because it's only a 10-second delta between their lap times. So, yeah, Fabian's not going to get there. That means it is going to be an extra lap for these guys because they're 18 seconds ahead. All right, this is going to make things very interesting. But let's look at P2, the GTPs, because Cy Antra's caught to the back of Jamie Hall, and here they go on the Kemmel Straight with traffic.
The slipstream of those GTOs as best they can. And Jamie Hall is going to be able to stay ahead, but a car locking up in front of him could distract him. That's Franco Scurry. And Andra closes through the twisty bits and then starts to lose out once more. Ahead of them, Hovdal. He's got to stay diligent because he can't lose too much time and allow them to maybe sneak this second place away from him.
Decent exit there from Andra on Jamie Hall trying to get through, but he's going to have to take a shallow line into Pouhon. It's such a challenging corner at the best of times. So here they go as they snake through, trying to get past Obe Trangarade. But Fabian Gerber on this white flag lap, still up ahead of these guys and up to Yoni Kaisen in fourth, but he's not going to catch up to our leaders.
He is definitely not. I'm watching that pair right now, actually. And as Fabian Gerber comes down towards Blanchimont, we're getting the white flag now for Lescala and Lake, who stay in that order, P1 and P2. So our leader down into the bus stop chicane. Fabian Gerber has been off the top step of the podium for a few races, but he returns in style here at Spa with a win in Belgium.
Second place still hotly contested between Hovdal, Hall, and Andra. Well, unfortunately, it's going to end in that order as Hovdal gets a good exit. Hall, late on the brakes, couldn't get it done. Syandra will get fourth.
I don't think he wants that nickname, as Phil Lake is going to try and see what he can do on the last lap on Yuko Lescala and try and take win number 7. Lescala looking for victory number 4 himself. He is just too far back here up the Kemmel Straight, so that's not going to do it between him and his rival. Do you think there's enough draft that he could do something on the way to the bus stop?
It's possible, but he's going to have to really close the gap, and being that strong on the brakes is going to cost you when it comes to corner exit speed. But here he goes. He dove it way deep there into that corner, so Phil's definitely giving it a shot. But it's going to be a tough one here. Billy Rolla 5.5 back is no threat, but look at that. Yuka Lescala just with the better corner exit speed. He's already streaked it back out to 0.7 of a second.
Down through Pouhon. Lake just doesn't look like he's got anything left in that rubber as he once again falls back to 0.8 of a second. Now through Fanyes. He's trying to see if he can close it in. This is going to be an almighty effort from the multi-time champion if he can make this work. I'm just not confident that he's got anything unless a mistake comes from Lescala. Not going to get it there.
Yeah, Lescala can be pretty calm going into the chicane, Joe, because I don't think Phil's close enough to even really challenge on the brakes here. Let's see how easily Lescala takes this last sector.
One braking zone left, and he's way far back. Phil Lake does not look like he's got enough. Yuka Lescala through the bus stop chicane and out of it is going to take the win here today in the GTO class on round 11. Nicely done. And that is going to take us to a quick break. We're going to come back with the official results as well as driver interviews, so stick around. Welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps. Round 11 of the Kamel GT series was won by Fabian Gerber. And this one wasn't exactly incredibly definitive, but he held a 6.5-second gap by the checkered flag. So you can say that nobody was looking to challenge him come the end of the race. Matthias Hovdal came up from 7th to 2nd, with Jamie Hall finishing 3rd. Even Jamie Hall in the post-race chat commending him on his incredible straight line speed that has basically become legendary for him any track that we go to with long straights. Cy Andra was 4th from 9th himself, passing his teammate who started on the front row. Alex Gall just didn't have the race pace, but he still got a top 5 for his troubles. Fabian Jungbluth in our fight for 3rd in the championship seems to have come out on top with 6. Nick Schneider behind him finished 7th, and you've got Timu Vascalampi in 8th. Ariamaki was P9, and Sean Campbell was top 10 today. Xavier Sanchez was 11th, and Ben Laughter wound up 12th. Stephen Warkup had to settle for 13th, and Brandon Roseborough 14th, with Laust Olsen climbing up only to 15th. This is going to hurt in his championship hopes. Yuri Geisen was P16, and the only driver a lap down of our GTPs was Martin Krejcik.
Yuka Leskala took the win today in a hard-fought battle with Phil Lake for that first position. Billy Rolla beating out Yoni Kajanen for 3rd. Yoni coming home in 4th today. Ove Trangre comes home in 5th. Reed Miller in his battle with Franco Scurry fell back early but was able to regain ground and come home 6th ahead of Roman Pavlowski. Franco Scurry falling to 8th position. Nils Kor comes home in the 9th spot with Jim McGill in 10th. Remy Villeneuve started off last and finishes in 11th. And then we have our 2 DNFs, Nick McConos and Michael Houghton.
That brings us to our second place finisher in our GTPs, Matthias Hovdal, who, as we expected, was very fast in a straight line today and thrived in this sort of environment. Matthias, qualifying seemed to be your bugbear, though. What happened on that end?
Yeah, I got an off track on my second lap, and I did a slow out lap. So I was expecting that to be the fastest one because you need to get some heat into the tires. So that was it, basically. That cost me probably at least 2-3 tenths, which would have put me quite a bit further up, I think.
You made it work anyways, is that your overtaking was certainly helped by that straight line speed. I see some chatter that you went way farther than anybody else did on that. Is that giving you useful information for some other tracks in the future?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I think it's already a known preference that I liked less downforce than other guys typically. So it was kind of expected that I would have the best top speed of anyone. But I actually think I took it a little bit too far this race. I did a race yesterday with a little bit more downforce, and I think all in all that might have been better. But I managed to keep it together in the twisty sections, and I mean, you saw the top speed, so
it looked like it was awful hard for anybody to even think about passing you, for sure. Next round, the finale is going to be at Silverstone. Will we see you once again heading over to England?
unfortunately, I'm moving next weekend, so I can't make that one, sadly.
I just moved myself. I guess everybody's moving because a friend of mine just said that they're doing the same. Must be that time of year. Well, we'll be sad to see you, but we look forward to seeing you next season.
Yeah, sure.
Now, Matthias Hovdal taking 2nd today. And then up next, let's see. Looks like we've got our winner, second place rather, Phil Lake, where Adam is going to be talking to our newly crowned champion as well.
Yeah, Phil winning the championship at Summit Point last week. Congratulations. But a hard-fought battle today with Yuka Leskala. Talk to me about how those side-by-side battles you guys are having.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really didn't think I had the pace today. Yuko this second half of the season has just had phenomenal pace everywhere, and I thought I was going to be struggling to get on the podium. And then I managed to pass Bill off at the start, and I thought, okay, I can kind of try and stick with Yuko. And he made a couple of mistakes, and I think we had quite different setups today, which is why the racing was as good as it was. So I was quite a bit stronger in certain places, and he was stronger in other places. And it made for some good racing. I made a few mistakes. Made some contact with him a couple of times, and I looked at the results, and we were both on 16 incidents, so we were both pretty close to get the drive-through penalty at the end there.
Absolutely. And talk to me. I feel like we ask you this almost every week, but it's definitely worth asking. Talk to me about the traffic, because it seemed like there were some sketchy moments, especially when it came to Eau Rouge and Blanchimont today.
Yeah. I mean, the closing speed there is really insane. I don't think I had one moment in Pouhon, which was pretty scary, where a couple of Nissans went up my inside and sort of took the second apex away. But overall, the traffic for me was okay. I think because we split today, it made it less of a factor. In yesterday's race, which was quite a large field but didn't split, we had Nissans lapping Nissans and Audis lapping Audis all at the same time, and it was quite chaotic. So it did kind of calm everything down a little bit today, having the split.
Absolutely. Now, thinking back on this entire season as we head to our final round of the Silverstone, is there anything that you would have done differently? Any sort of on-track decisions or even setup decisions you would have changed now that you look back at your championship-winning season?
There's a few decisions I made in battles that I would like to have done differently. Particularly Imola, I really drove far too aggressively in that race, and I paid for it. Other than that, I mean, I would have liked to have won a few more races, but I did pretty well. So overall, it was a good season.
Well, Phil, since you won the championship last week and got second place today, is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Just you guys again, and my Dirty Talk teammates.
All right. Well, it's great talking to you, Phil, and we look forward to seeing you next week at the finale.
Yeah, thanks, guys. See ya.
All right. It looks like we're going to be talking to our winner and possibly champion, Fabian Gerber.
By our math, Fabian cannot be overtaken mathematically here with a round to spare. Congratulations, Fabian. And, well, you're finally back on the top step. It's been a little bit here.
Oh yeah, I had dire straits the last 3 races, so I was sometimes a bit mad, sometimes sad. I didn't know, but it actually ended very well now. I'm really happy about it. I'm not 100% sure if I'm champion already, but I guess so too.
It's a 34-point difference, which is more than a win's worth ahead. This, I noted at the start of the broadcast, was sort of a return to kind of a normal track compared to what we had with Summit Point and Bathurst. Do you feel like that contributed to being able to find the win today?
No, I think I was just at the wrong place at the wrong time, because most of the times I got taken out was another car having an accident in front of me and I couldn't avoid him. So this could have happened here too. So I think it was just bad luck in a row.
Well, the next one is going to be at Silverstone. It's going to be the historic layout of the old version, though. So another one that's relatively fast, but still got some twisty bits in it. So how are you feeling about heading over to England to wrap things up?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So it's without any pressure. That's always great. I really had pressure today. I felt because I wasn't sure if I can finish the race, and yeah, and if I hadn't and Jamie had a good result, it would be at Silverstone to finish. But I like Silverstone a lot, especially the historic version. So I really look forward to it, and will enjoy it.
Forward to seeing you there in a week's time. That was Fabian Gerber, our winner and newly crowned champion unofficially.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Fabian. As we get ready to talk to one last driver, 4th place in the prototype, Cy Andra, who certainly had some interesting fights up the field, and Adam's going to talk to him.
Yeah, Cy, you started off in 9th position, but finishes off in 4th, and you had some close fights, especially with your teammate Alex Gall. Talk to me about your day today.
It was a little bit frustrating, especially with qualifying. I invalidated my first lap, which meant I had to kind of baby it on the second to ensure I got a time in. And it wasn't the best time. I think I had another 6 or 7 tenths in it. Probably would have got me around where Alex was. And then during the race, I kept it clean, but it was just infuriating being behind Matthias, because I passed somebody with his wing 3 setup, Everybody was saying what's the difference between wing 5 and wing 6? Matthias shows up with a wing 3 and blows everybody on a straight line. And then I have to sit behind the guy he passed because now Matthias is giving that guy the draft and I can't get close. So just a little bit frustrating all day.
Absolutely, and it seemed like traffic was playing a large factor in it as well, especially around Pouhon. You had some very exciting moments with that group that you were racing with Matthias and Jamie and Alex.
Yeah, it was just Pouhon in this car is very, very close to being a what I call a life or death corner, in the sense that you can send it in really hard, but if you have to get it perfect, otherwise it'll spit you out to the right. Kind of what happened with Giovinazzi in F1 last year, I believe.
Absolutely, and especially towards those closing laps, you were challenging Jamie. What do you think the difference was? Do you think it was just the draft from Hovdal that kept him ahead of you, or do you think that it just ran out of juice at the end?
Absolutely. I mean, no respect to Jamie. He is incredibly fast, but I believe that if Hovdal was at least another second or two up the road, I would have had Jamie at the end of the race.
Well, Si, is there anyone you want to thank for your 4th place finish today?
Definitely Alex, my teammate. He helped me out with the setup. Unfortunately, he may have picked up some damage, or he burned off his front tires early in the race, which put him down on speed a little bit. But we tested together and we built the setups together. We had slightly different setups to suit our own driving styles, but yeah, a lot of testing to get the cars where they were.
All right, Si. Well, thanks for talking to us, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Silverstone.
Thank you.
That was Si Andra, our 4th place finisher, and back to you, Joe.
Wrap things up for our interviews tonight. So, of course, we want to give some thank yous to a few people, starting off with the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcasts, and we've listed them here on your screen, along with June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. If you want to check out her work, her Bandcamp is right there. Thanks to the team today, Adam, Sean, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Also, check out our social media, which includes Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. If you'd like to support us, we've got a merchandise store linked in our description below, and that is simply at gsrc.storenv.com. Next race, as we mentioned, we're heading off to England for the Old Silverstone. That'll be Saturday, December 5th at noon Eastern. But we have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar, including, in a few moments' time, we'll see you in Hell. Well, that's Hell Rallycross course, actually. It'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern for the Jeddah Masters. 2:30 p.m. Eastern for the Jeddah Masters. But until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.